Starting off the playoffs, we have the wild card round. We got the 4-seed Texans and the 5-seed Chargers. This is an interesting game. Texans clinched the AFC South, which honestly is one of the worst divisions in football, so this isn't saying much. And the Chargers have been playing really scrappy. Scrappy's kind of the name of their game this season, and have put together a really successful season under Father Jim Harbaugh. Honestly, in the end, I think that the LA Chargers will come out victorious in this game because I think their rushing attack has been awesome. Justin Herbert has been balling out casually this season. And let's take a look at the Texans. Their offense has just been falling apart. CJ Stroud's sophomore slump has not been a good sight to see. Might be the new uniforms, who knows. All their wide receivers are pretty much injured. Their team is pretty much made of glass at this point. So I would take the Chargers, and I have them moving on. The 5 seed will get the upset at NRG Stadium. Next up, we got an AFC North clash as the Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to Baltimore to take on their division rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take a boring prediction. I think Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are going to ball out. Lamar Jackson has proven that he can't win in the playoffs, but he will indeed win this one against the Pittsburgh Steelers and move on to the divisional round. I say that Derrick Henry rushes for over 100 yards. Defense does its job. And the Texans and the Steelers don't really have an answer offensively as their offense has been stalling out lately. Russell Wilson has not been playing nearly as good as he has in the past, and I think this offense is just not good enough to beat the Ravens. Meanwhile, I think the Ravens do have a very talented playoff tier offense, although the Steelers' defense will make it very interesting as I expect TJ Watt to come away with a couple of sacks, a couple of big tackles in this game to make it a little bit more interesting, but in the end, Baltimore will squeak out the win. The final AFC wildcard round, we got the 2-seed Buffalo Bills taking on the 7-seed Denver Broncos. Gosh, I would love to see the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix get this win, finally win a playoff game since Peyton Manning left, but it's just not happening. Josh Allen has been playing like an MVP, playing easily the best football of his career, and there's no way that the Buffalo Bills are going to lose this game at home at Orchard Park, New York. I think Buffalo's got this one wrapped up. Sure, Denver has been playing really well. Bo Nix has been awesome. Their offense has been really surprisingly good. Cortland Sutton's been unlocked. The O-line's been awesome. The defense has also been really good. A lot of dogs on that defense. But the Bills just have a better offense, better defense also, and a better quarterback. Josh Allen is just too good to lose a game like this, and he will be moving on to the next round. Moving on to the NFC wildcard matchups, we got the first of many good ones, and it is the LA Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings were vying for the 1 seed at one time, but let's just say they did not come even close to beating the Detroit Lions in an ugly, ugly game that made them the number 5 seed, and they will in turn have to go to LA and take on the Rams. This is getting deja vu moments for us Vikings fans, as earlier this season we lost to the Lions and then we lost to the Rams right after that, our only loss of the season, and I don't think it's going to change. I think the Rams, unfortunately, are going to send the Vikings home packing. I am not confident at all. I think Sam Darnold's going to see ghost again. I think Kyren Williams is going to run for a lot of yards. I think Matthew Stafford's going to turn back the clock, link up with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, have a big offensive game, and make their way to the divisional round as SoFi gets taken over by Vikings fans. But I just don't see the Vikings coming away with this win, especially with the momentum absolutely crushed after that Vikings loss. It's just sad as a Vikings fan to see this team crumble when we need them the most. Let's change things up and finally get a seed upset in the playoffs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels playing phenomenal this season, probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield and the Bucs ended up getting it done, squeaking out that win against the Saints to clinch the lowly NFC South, and thanks to the Rams' shenanigans, they have moved up to the 3 seed, which means they get home field advantage against Washington. They got Mike Evans his 1,000 yards. But I think Jaden Daniels will ball out in this game. Jaden Daniels knows how to play in the bright lights, as we saw in college. He won the Heisman, and I think he is ready for his first playoff start to get the win in Tampa. I'm not too confident in the Buccaneers' defense at this point. I think Jaden Daniels will have some big throws to Terry McLaurin and get the rushing attack involved. But Buccaneers will not go down without a fight. I think it will be a close game. Baker Mayfield will have to pull off some magic and some heroics. Bucky Irving is a player to watch in this game, as if they can get him going, then I think the Bucs could pull off a win. I want to see what this team can do with a real playoff run. The final wildcard matchup is a bit of a doozy, as the Eagles are taking on the Packers at the Link. Packers had probably the worst Week 18 out of any team. Jordan Love, Malik Willis both suffered injuries. I'm pretty sure they'll be fine and be ready to face the Eagles, but they dropped all the way down to the 7 seed and now have to play Philly, the highest ranked team in these wild card games. And I think they're going to get rocked. Let's just keep it short and simple. Saquon Barkley is going to run all over the Packers defense. They're not going to stand a chance. He's going to have a big game. Jordan Love going to throw some picks, some costly Jordan Love interceptions. This might just be my Packers hate coming through, but I do think the Eagles are exponentially the better team in this football game, and they will move on in the battle of the green teams. Fly, Eagles, fly. All right, next up, we got the 1 seed Chiefs getting their first crack in the playoffs as they have the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Arrowhead. You already know how the story goes. Warm weather team like the LA Chargers going to frozen solid Kansas City taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. We already know how this is going to go. Patrick Mahomes is going to do his thing. Chris Collinsworth is going to lay on the glaze if he is calling this game. It's just going to be another typical Patrick Mahomes show, Chiefs domination. Unfortunately, the Chargers are not going to pull off the win, and the Chiefs are just going to do what they do, play terrible in the regular season, and squeak out wins in the playoffs against Justin Herbert and company. I think it's just going to be a tough game transitioning to the cold, and I think that LA will lose, and Kansas City will move on to their millionth straight AFC championship at this point. Bills versus Ravens. This feels like must-watch TV as two of the best quarterbacks, honestly, the two best quarterbacks this season facing off toe-to-toe, Baltimore Ravens versus Buffalo Bills. This is going to be a great game, I feel like. Josh Allen has been playing great. Lamar Jackson has been playing great. We saw how this went, though, during the regular season as the Ravens absolutely walloped the Buffalo Bills 35-10. It wasn't actually really that competitive. However, I think it'll be much more close this go around, and I do think that in the end, the Baltimore Ravens will take this game. Lamar Jackson's going to put on a show. Derrick Henry's going to put on a show. The defense will come up big. Lamar will link up with Zay Flowers for multiple touchdowns, and I think they will take this game and move on to the AFC Championship for the second year in a row. This might be a boring pick as the Ravens did go back all that way last year, and I do have the same exact AFC Championship as of now. I think that they will move on to the AFC Championship and send Josh Allen packing and force them to look for some new wide receivers. All right, on the NFC side of things, kicking it off with the Detroit Lions versus the LA Rams. I don't think this game's going to be really that competitive. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to do what he did to the Vikings and rush for like 3-4 touchdowns. Who knows? Jahmyr Gibbs is just absolutely unhinged when it comes to football. He's absolutely insane. And the Lions are going to get the better of the Rams for the second year in a row in the playoffs. Give me the Detroit Lions in a blowout fashion. Philadelphia Eagles taking on their division rivals, the Washington Commanders at the Link. This might be a boring pick, but I do not think Jaden Daniels has what it takes to beat the Eagles. We've seen how this went in the regular season. They were only able to beat the Eagles once Kenny Pickett was under center, and it was the Kenny Pickett show, and Jalen Hurts was injured. Give me the Eagles in this game. Jalen Hurts is going to play pretty good, but the main catalyst is, of course, Saquon Barkley. He'll have a big game and move on to their NFC Championship berth where they will face the Detroit Lions. All right, let's look at this AFC Championship. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. Logic tells me to go with the Chiefs as they did it last year. And just are the Chiefs. They win at every game somehow. But, please, Ravens, please do what I'm telling you and beat the Chiefs. I believe that the Ravens have the rushing attack and they will run all over the Chiefs' defense. And they're used to playing in the cold somewhat. Baltimore isn't exactly warm when it's December and January. And I'm just counting on the Ravens to finally beat the Chiefs and finally win the AFC Championship. That's right, the Baltimore Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. And if they don't, I might have to stop following. I might have to become a UFL fan. And who's going to join the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl, Detroit Lions or Philadelphia Eagles? It's quite simple to me. The Detroit Lions, the 1 seed, are going to the Super Bowl. And that is because of 2 words, Jahmyr Gibbs. This guy's absolutely insane. Dan Campbell's gutsy coaching will pay off in the NFC Championship. And Jahmyr Gibbs will have another big game along with Jared Goff in the passing attack. That's actually really underrated. This Lions team is built for the Super Bowl, built for the bright lights, and we will have a Ravens-Lions Super Bowl. Let's get to it. All right, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Who is going to win the Super Bowl? Is it going to be the Baltimore Ravens or Detroit Lions? The Ravens have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, a great rushing attack, and the Lions have a great rushing attack with Jahmyr Gibbs. Both have good receivers, Zay Flowers and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Both have good defenses, although the Lions is getting a bit torn up as a lot of injuries on the defensive side. Although Aiden Hutchinson has said that he will potentially return if the Lions make it to the Super Bowl. And if he returns, I think that Aiden Hutchinson is enough to put the Lions over the edge and win their first Super Bowl. That's right, the Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl. That's my prediction. And if you like my predictions, feel free to like and subscribe if you like these football prediction videos. And we will see you next time.